Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 23 live feed spoilers. Welcome to the first eviction day of the season. We have all finally made it.
We have made it. Who else is there is ready for new HOH?
It's gonna be so nice, so satisfying. What is Frenchie going to do with himself without some notion of fake power in the game?
I don't even care. I'm really exhausted of this. I'm ready to see somebody else playing and someone else in charge. It is time.
It is very much time, and here we will take you through Travis's last minute campaign, if there's anything going on there, what some people are kind of sort of thinking in terms of who the next targets could be.
Yep.
We have a number of different things to explore, so why not hit that subscribe button while we're exploring them? That way you can also explore. How many times can I say explore? But anyway, there's new updates coming every day for you guys.
Also, we've had some questions in the comments of whether or not we're going to be covering the episodes.
Yeah.
Typically, we don't. I mean, we're mostly live feeds more than anything else. Here and there, we will talk about episodes in our live feed updates. But as far as like doing a review of the episode, not usually.
It's mostly just stuff we've already kind of talked about, unless there's like something that's like really big in the edit that like totally like shocks us or blows us away.
Okay, so Travis is back campaigning again, and he did campaign to Frenchie and Brent, and he brought up the same thing where he was just like, listen, I could be shield, whatever, but, he could keep them safe, but it's not really working with them, even though they're both like, he's got good points, and yeah, he does, but this campaign just isn't working, and it's a good one, but it's just not working.
Too late. It's just, you can't do this on Wednesday. We've talked about this during the week. You're not giving them time to entertain other options, and I understand that Frenchie's got the slaughterhouse and all that anyway, and it probably wouldn't have worked no matter, but you gotta give yourself more of a fighting chance then, because it just feels like you're kind of like going through the motions at this point.
Frenchie. So Frenchie has also asked Tiffany to throw a Hinky vote into this whole thing. And the plan is to pin it on Derek X because he is close with Travis, so people will think that that's what he's doing. But I mean, this house is filled with a lot of smart players. I just don't think it's gonna work. I don't think people think Derek X is an idiot and that he would expose himself like that much. I know people get paranoid in this house, and sometimes they think the most ridiculous stuff, but no, I just don't think that that's going to be a thing.
I will admit this. I love Hinky votes. Hinky votes are the saving grace of Big Brother live shows to me, especially in this like modern era where everyone is voting with the house all the time.
Okay, Hinky votes can be fun if they're believable. They have to be believable. We're not in some fantastical house like the murder house over on American Horror Stories, which, by the way, we're covering here at the channel.
Yeah.
And we have a review up of it already. But anyways, it's true. It has to mean something. It has to actually be believable. And just who's going to believe this?
Yeah, and there's also no guarantee that Tiffany is even going to go through with this. It feels like I'm going to do a Hinky vote or I'll go along with this. Hinky votes are like house meetings where they're talked about a lot, but very rarely do they actually happen, and very rarely do they happen in a way that's even more entertaining, though when they do happen and they're entertaining, they're just like a rocket ship.
No, it's true.
In my perfect dream world here, I want there to be like 4 Hinky votes. Like, I want there to be enough that like Alyssa is like legitimately like freaking out and everyone is like pointing at each other.
Yeah, and I think that this whole, I've never liked the whole house voting sort of thing. I think people do need to not feel that safe. And I think there is something to be said for having it be a little bit close so that Alyssa is on edge going into next week, where it was like, oh man, I'm here by the skin of my teeth. I almost did not stay. And just light a fire under her where it's kind of like, you almost didn't stay last week. Maybe you got to do something this week.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of fun. And also, I just like this idea because I don't want all the heat to be on Derek X because it just feels like he is in the ultimate... He's just the de facto target for a lot of people in the house. He's the scapegoat. He's the person who they can put up and nobody...
For no reason!
Yeah, it's so annoying. It's just like, oh, he hasn't talked to the right people, or oh, if I do this, people won't be that mad at me. It's like, oh, how about you play your own game and actually try to advance yourselves?
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. But Derek X does seem like he's sort of the easy group target for everybody.
Yeah, this is why I'm hoping for. And we all know that nobody is like 100% that the slaughterhouse is like that legit a thing. But regardless, if someone within that slaughterhouse does win HOH, I feel like Frenchie, I feel like other people within this group are going to just push for him. I don't know if Alyssa would push for him, but I feel like that's just going to be what happens.
So speaking of Alyssa, there's something very like strange that's going to be coming up here. Yeah. So Xavier has mentioned that he's planning on throwing the next HOH to Alyssa, and they're on the same team. So, I mean, that's fine for him, and that all makes sense because it means that he'll be safe. But the weird sort of feeling about it is down the road. I mean, Alyssa has mentioned that she plans on targeting Xavier at some point, and it sucks because... I mean, he was there for her that first night where she was having a panic attack, and he was there with her for like an hour. He is trying to build her as an ally for him. So even when the teams are gone, this is an ally for her. So I'm just not sure if this is the best way to go about it. Maybe Xavier feels like if he throws it to her that he could be like, hey man, like I wanted to make sure you won. You deserve to have some power, sort of gas her up a little bit so that like he just doesn't realize that she's gonna target him down the road.
I'm gonna make a prediction here, and this is not something that I really want, but I think Alyssa's going to win HOH tonight. I just think that maybe there's going to be a Hinky vote situation like we talked about. I think, Xavier's going to throw this. There's probably some other people who will end up throwing it. She's coming off of being nominated. I just feel like she's going to want to win it. I don't know how many other people are going to gun for it. And also... this is Big Brother. We usually don't get things we want, and I don't think a lot of people in the fandom want Alyssa to be HOH.
No, but I mean, I hate to say this, but I actually think we're looking at something like a Brent HOH.
Oh, no.
I know. Because usually how this works is people who are sort of part of the big alliances, and they end up having sort of these final twos or close to final twos like Frenchie and Brent. They kind of like, we've just seen it so many times where it's like back to back to back to back like that Alyssa, if she ended up in a place where the vote was real split, I think that it could really light a fire under her to win it. But I think if she's like, most of the house, they're fine with me, one vote, who cares? I just don't know.
It's gonna be kind of it's also gonna depend on what the competition is, and we have like zero clues of that right now.
Yeah, it depends.
I don't think it's gonna be endurance. Maybe it's gonna be like a toss something in this bag and you get like a point amount for it or something like that.
Yeah, the competitions are just like crapshoot. All the best to everybody.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's a little bit where we're going.
That's possible.
Okay, I hate to do this because this is the third update in a row we've had to mention
Oh my god, the French kisses.
Okay, so Alyssa has learned about the French kisses, and she's, interestingly enough, and this may be further proof as to why people are so frustrated with her, she doesn't actually, she understands why she wouldn't be pulled into it, and it's sort of like, Alyssa, you already seem okay with with Frenchie, who put you on the block. Now you seem to be okay with the fact that there's this other alliance that you're not a part of.
Yeah, it's very weird how many passes Alyssa is giving Frenchie. Like, it's a lot, because he did promise her she wasn't going on the block and then put her on the block. And then, yeah, she was sort of like a little bit of a target because of Christian. Now he's putting together the French kisses and she's not part of it. There's a lot of passes that are going here.
this is gonna blow up. I think with Frenchie in general, we're all sort of just sitting here waiting for things to blow up.
Well, with the French kisses, let's be fair. In our last update, we mentioned that he planned on blowing up that own alliance to gather them all together and then have Brent sort of listen in on it. Like, this is not an anything. This is going to go away, and we will all be happier for it.
Thank goodness. Now, for those of you who want Frenchie to go away, I don't think it's going to happen this coming week. Like, I think his downfall will happen sooner rather than later. This is just my opinion. I just think with Derek X still in the game and with there's some other sort of obvious targets, I think he's going to find a way to skate by for a week or two.
I agree. I think with the way that Frenchie has been playing, that he is very unpredictable. I think he is the right person to get out of the house because he's unpredictable. You can't trust him. He's in way too many alliances, and when he has power, he's just way too unpredictable. You got to get him out. But I think that, like, say if someone, gets into power that just doesn't want to shake up the house too much, they'll just go for Derek X, because if he goes, it does seem like no one's going to really care. I hate this.
Here's something we can really celebrate, though. We can pat ourselves on the back for this, because you picked Azza, I picked Claire to win the game. Here's how smart Azza and Claire and Tiffany are.
Oh man, I love that trio.
They're amazing, and they have already sort of come to their senses that the women who are not included in the French kisses, that these women, they're probably not included in this alliance because they're probably a part of another big alliance, and that this is all probably just cover. Like, this is some next level math thinking that usually Big Brother players do not get to.
Yeah, and it makes sense that they are getting there because Frenchie has made numerous alliances that have overlapping people in some of them, and nobody's keeping it a secret, including Frenchie, who is exposing his own alliances, right? So, I mean, when you really sit down and you start to think about it, and you talk to people, oh, I'm part of this alliance. Oh, I'm also part of that one, but I'm also part of this one. Oh, well, there's also this fourth alliance that I'm a part of. Yeah. Okay, but we're not part of this one, and that's the biggest problem with these overlapping alliances.
They're just, they're all over the place. It's inevitably something's going to be said to the wrong person at some time.
And it's already been unraveling because people are talking.
Okay, well, we think Azza, Tiffany, and Claire are brilliant for this, but, I know I said that Alyssa's probably going to win this HOH. I want Azza to win this HOH. I think this is her time. I think she would be really great as HOH, and I think she would not be afraid to make moves.
I would love her to win, of course, but I would also love to see Tiffany win. I think that she will make some moves. I do, but I think she's going to do it in such a beautifully smooth way, because she is so social. Her mom game or social game has been so good that she can send you out of the house and be like, give you that hug and that pat on the back, and you'll walk out being like, yeah, I gotta go. It's time for me to go. And you'll be okay with it in a way because she just is really smooth that way.
And Tiffany wants seemingly Brent out of the game, and come on, this is such a good idea.
This is Big Brother. We're not going to get what we want. Okay. Everybody buckle up and put on your hard hats because it's going to be Alyssa or Brent.
Okay, but just getting rid of Brent, I got to live in my memory palace here with this, because it's like, okay, you would then splinter up the slaughterhouse. That's going to be all over the place if Brent goes.
That'll happen anyways. It don't matter.
You'll get rid of Frenchie's minion because that's what it feels like Brent is at this point.
Correct. I just don't like Brent, so he can go.
And it also means we get to keep Derek X in the game a week longer, which I think we're both very much on board with.
Yeah, it's just, we've seen this happen before in Big Brother, but kind of not really on this level so fast.
Yeah. It's really rare that there's a person that's seemingly sort of this disconnected at this point in the game.
Yeah, that just hasn't really done anything to ruffle everybody's feathers this badly, where it's just like, yeah, we all want him gone. He's an unlikable person.
Yeah.
He's, chatted with people. Everybody seems somewhat fine with it. It's just so bizarre.
Now, as we start to wrap this up, there's somebody we have to add to the list of people I'm a little worried about, and I don't want to do it.
All right, let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Oh!
That was me doing the Band-Aid.
I didn't expect that.
Sarah Beth.
Oh.
I really love Sarah Beth. I love her alliance with Kylan.
Mm-hmm.
But her telling Christian that Whitney and Brent are possible sort of targets, you don't need to be saying this out loud, Sarah Beth. You're not HOH. You're not in power right now. I just don't name targets to other people when you're not in power unless it is like the same obvious target that every other person has.
I think the thing is that it just also depends on sort of the context of the situation. Like, Sarah Beth is looking to make sort of these smaller, closer connections, like she did with Kylan. She, gave up important information in that conversation to bring him in closer. And she may be like, oh, this kind of actually worked over here. Maybe this can work over here where I can get someone who is a much larger target than me. Christian is a way bigger target.
Yeah.
And, if the conversation goes as well as it did over here, where Kylan's a bigger target than me, and I've earned his trust by doing exactly this, she's kind of doing the same thing again over here with Christian, hoping it'll work. But does lightning always strike twice? No! So, who knows, right?
If I was Christian, I would actually try to make a closer bond with Sarah Beth, just because from the outside looking in, it feels like Christian's pecking order is just sort of like, in terms of like people he wants to be around, Alyssa's like really far up here. Frenchie, who wanted to put him on the block, is somewhere kind of in the middle, higher than a lot of other people.
Yeah, that's the thing, is Christian does need to make some alliances.
Yeah.
I mean, Frenchie has made it no secret that he was going to be the target to go out. Christian does need to make some alliances, especially since Frenchie does have all these crazy alliances. Who knows if any of them are good, but Christian's not really like anywhere on his list of people he's going to keep around. He needs to start securing some more votes just in case.
I hope that we get to see something more from him, but more than anything else, I'm hoping for another fun week of Big Brother 23. I mean, Frenchie, he was exhausting at times, but we will all remember where we were during Frenchie's HOH reign. How could we not?
And the thing is we're probably going to be losing Travis tonight, and he hasn't really done much of anything, so it's kind of like he's cutting some of the we're like far in some of the low-hanging fruit that's just not gonna do anything in the game. And I'm not trying to say like Travis is a bad person or anything. That I'm just saying like he isn't doing anything. He's not adding anything.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm all right with this. Frenchie, you got out someone who's not really playing, so cool. Let's all move along.
Have fun in Hawaii, Travis. Well, anyway, we will wrap up this video. Who do you want to see win the next HOH? What do you think is going to happen next? Share in the comments, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Check out our review of American Horror Stories, as Jess mentioned earlier.
It's really good. It's really good.
We'll see you guys here next time.